All right, guys, welcome to the Digital Barbell Podcast. Hope you're having a good day. If it's your first time finding our podcast, my name is Jonathan. This is my wife, Blakely. We own and operate Digital Barbell. We're an online training and nutrition coaching company. So we're glad that you're here. If you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify, you'll see we're in a different environment today. It's a big day. First time recording our podcast here in the house that we're remodeling for ourselves. You can't really tell from the background, but it's definitely not a complete house yet. There's a lot of painting work to be done, miscellaneous stuff, but...
And this is the only piece of furniture that is currently in the house,
yeah.
besides a camping chair.
It'll be interesting to see, like, once we get the office room set up, if we find a place to record the podcast in there, or if we're doing it more in the garage.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how it shakes out. We've got a great topic today. We're going to be giving you 6 things to do for the rest of 2026 to guarantee that it's a success. This episode's coming out about a month before the midway point in the year. And a lot of people started out the year really hot, maybe with some great goals, some good intentions for what they wanted to make of the year, and maybe have fallen off track a little bit. Or maybe you're just looking to squeeze out maximum progress, make this year like your best one yet. We've got 6 great things for you to focus on to make that happen.
I'm just noticing how much darker your hair looks in the camera than in real life. It's looking like you got like...
Just for men action going on?
Yeah, it looks like you have like some...
That's all natural, baby. Just don't look at the
color.
sides where it's all gray.
It's funny.
I was able to score a podcast sponsor for this episode.
Sweet.
We're sponsored by Craftsman Lawnmowers.
Oh,
So
they are.
I don't want to spend a ton of time on this because I know the retention will just drop off on this episode. But long story short is we have a decent sized yard here at this house that we bought, and we went to Home Depot to buy a lawnmower. We had one on
This is like a month ago.
on the buggy, and Blakely looks at the price. She's like, I don't want to spend that much on a lawnmower. Let's get this push style, old school 1960s reel mower where it's just like, yeah. So, you know, being an accommodating husband, I put up a fight, didn't win, and we got the $110 reel lawnmower.
We should clarify that I do the lawn mowing just because I love to mow the lawn
Right.
and be active outside. And so I take care of the lawn.
So we get this reel mower that's powered by sweat, blood, and tears, and Blakely proceeds to mow the yard a couple times with it and finds out the limitations of it. You can't get really close to things. You can't deal with rocks. It doesn't knock down the weeds that are just those little like flopping in the breeze
wispies,
things. Yeah.
Which is what is a lot of our yard. It's not the effort level that it takes to mow with this thing. It's
the frustration level.
it's the end product. You go over the lawn and you look like you've mowed the lawn, and then you're like, the lawn doesn't really look that mowed. It needs
Right.
a weed eater to go over it. Now, you know, it just needed several passes of different kinds of equipment to
Right.
get, and it never really looked
The
like a mowed.
6-hour procedure.
It never really looked like a mowed lawn, I'll be honest. And yesterday I was like, I've had it. It's been raining. The lawn is really tall, and I want a good looking yard. I love to mow the yard,
right.
and I want a good looking yard. I went up to Ace Hardware. I got me a Craftsman lawnmower.
Gasoline
And-
powered, baby.
I mowed the lawn last night, and it looks so good. For sale by owner, one barely used reel.
Low mile Scott reel mower.
I was like, sometimes in life you make mistakes. This was only a $100 mistake. Like I bought that thing, it was $105. It's not that bad of a mistake. Like,
I'm going to put it on Facebook
That's
Marketplace
fine.
for 50 and see what
but I'm
happens.
just saying, like, sometimes you make mistakes and they're like significant. But this was a $105 mistake. I'll admit it. You tried to talk me out of it. Several people tried to talk me out of it. I was like, I'm going to be green. I'm going to have a manual lawnmower. And I did get a push lawnmower. It's not self-propelled.
Yeah,
So
you're still working.
I'm still working, same effort level, but it actually cuts the lawn.
Right.
I'm not trying to like get a workout out of this lawn mowing. I'm just, lawnmowers
Lawnmowers
are
are
expensive
expensive.
now. And so I'm like, okay, where can I get?
Yep. So that's what's going on over here. Thanks to Craftsman for sponsoring
Yeah.
it. We did save $25 because of our Ace Rewards account. All right, let's get into this if anybody's still listening after that rant. But all right, so the overarching theme of this episode is, like I said, a lot of people come out hot at the beginning of the year with resolutions. It's easy to set really lofty goals, and then sometimes life happens. We don't measure up to what we're trying to do, and that the human nature of just throwing in the towel and the all or nothing mentality can kick in. And we might be here in the middle of the year being like, what the heck are we even doing? Or you might be somebody who's like pretty happy with their progress this year, and you're like, what else can I do that will be a challenge the rest of the year?
Yeah.
And maybe see some measurable benefits. So we're going to give you some ideas of things to focus on. The reason this is so important is because like I said, our natural human tendency is to kind of feel like all hope is lost. And that would be like, waking up when you're 40 years old, realizing you hadn't saved a penny for retirement and just being like, you know what, I'm behind. What's even the point? I'm not going to save, just see what happens when I turn 65. No, it's never too late. It's like that old example, like the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is today. So no matter where you're at, these are things that you can focus on that will get you moving in the right direction, help you get some wins. So don't give up. It's not too late.
All right.
All right, you want to start off with number one, and then we'll dive right into it?
The first one, set better goals.
What's a goal
I would say that this is one of the things where we see like fluffy goals versus smart goals. A fluffy goal is something like, I want to eat better. For the rest of the year, I want to eat better. For the rest of the year, I want to try to get stronger. For the rest of the year, I'm going to lose a little bit of weight. These are goals that are not specific. They're just, words out in the atmosphere, and they don't really have any like grip behind them.
Yeah, I think I've heard somebody say like a goal without a plan is just a dream. So if you're okay with just dreaming about getting in shape.
And a dream is great,
right,
but we need to be specific about our dreams in order to achieve those dreams.
Yeah, the fluffy goals, the thing that separates them from a better goal, and what we're going to get into with these smart goals is like a fluffy goal doesn't give you any kind of plan to follow. It's just an idea that's out there in the ether. So
yeah. So back in the day when I owned the CrossFit gym, we did this a lot, and we put up like, for the summer specifically, we put up SMART goals for people, and they would create their own SMART goals. And I'll tell you what that is. It's an acronym for something in just a second. And we tracked them throughout the summer, and it was just a great experience. So that's kind of why we're sharing this today. A SMART goal is, the S is specific. A specific goal, a measurable goal, an achievable goal, an attainable goal.
You forgot relevant.
Sorry. An achievable goal, a relevant goal, and I was trying to do it by memory, and a time-bound goal.
So if you're just listening to this and you're like, what does that have to do with SMART? It's an acronym, SMART.
I think they got that. So when you're talking about a specific goal, instead of just saying, I want to eat better, get a specific goal. Your goal should be clear and focused, not just vague. So you want some like details about how are you going to eat better, not just saying I want to eat better.
Yeah.
It needs to be measurable. You need to be able to track your progress and goals. So you need to like have specifics around that goal that tell you like, okay, each week am I doing this goal?
There needs to be something to let you know
how close am I getting to achieving the goal?
Yeah, or even like not even how close, but are you headed in the right direction?
Right.
Like the speed at which you get to a goal is really less important than like, are you on the right track? Mm-hmm. If you're on the right track, and you know that because you're able to measure something to tell you if you're on the right track, it's only a matter of time until you reach the goal.
Yeah. It needs to be achievable. So it needs to be something that is realistic for you, for like a certain amount of time that you have, for your resources, for your abilities. It's like, I want to be able to dunk a basketball. That might not be achievable for me. So your goal needs to be achievable to you, specifically to you. It also needs to be relevant. I think that if we're talking about like, I'm trying to think of something that's not relevant right now. Like,
if you're like,
I want to be able to ski. I want to learn how to snow ski. Maybe that's not relevant for the summer. Maybe you can start to learn some skills. But I'm just trying to give an example here of like something that is relevant to right now.
If health is your priority, then an irrelevant goal would be like, I want to be able to deadlift 800 pounds. Like, that's not necessarily irrelevant to having overall health. If
health is your priority, maybe like, I want to try every hamburger in the greater Austin area. That might not be a relevant goal.
Good point, yeah.
And then it needs to be time bound. There needs to be a way to say like, okay, by this date or in 3 months or by the end of 2026.
Yeah.
And not only just like putting a date on it, but it needs to be able to be achievable within that time bound.
Right. If there's no time-bound part of this SMART goal, it's just kind of like, I'll get to it later. No, the time-boundness creates the urgency, provides a little bit of motivation and focus to do the process that leads to the goal.
And is it a goal that can be done in that amount of time?
Yeah.
Also. Okay. So instead of saying, I want to eat better, what we can say is, I will make all but one of my meals at home each week for the rest of 2026.
That's specific.
There's kind of a way to be specific about eating better. I want to get stronger I want to be able to deadlift my body weight by the end of the year. Now you need to write out the steps and the process and everything like that. We can measure that. That's something that you can achieve based on like your current lifting abilities. It's relevant to what you want, and you have a time bounding. And then instead of saying, you know, I just want to lose weight, I will hire a nutrition coach to give me a plan, hold me accountable for the rest of 2026 so that I can lose weight and things like that.
That turns those fluffy statements into actionable things that you can actually make happen.
Yep.
And that's at the end of the day what we want.
Right. All right. Number 2, make or keep your steps a priority.
We phrased it this way because we know a lot of you guys are already killing it on your steps.
Yeah.
You make an effort every day, every week to get activity in outside of your normal responsibilities and your job and your workouts and that kind of stuff. So if you're that person who's already crushing like 7,000 to 10,000 steps per day, don't let the summer be like one of the things that makes you fall off track with that. Keep it a priority, keep it a top of mind. Keep carving out the parts of your day that allow you to get those steps in, even as more things get put on your plate, as usually happens in the summer. I think every year in the summer we put out an episode that's basically like the summer is actually harder to stay on track with your fitness than the holiday season. So steps
Summer's
can be one of
longer.
the things that gets pushed off. And that has a big impact on you if your steps drop off.
Yeah. And, you know, one thing I do is like, you know, having a watch or something. We all have these watches now that keep track of all this stuff, you know, usually. But keeping track of it throughout the day. Like if this is one of your goals and it is something that you want to start to work on, don't just check it before you go to bed and be like, oh, I'm only at 4,000 steps. You know, I like to check, like look down at noon, see where I'm at. You know, look down at 3 o'clock, see where I'm at. Like throughout the day, I kind of have like this mental idea of like, okay, by this time of day, I need to have this many steps. Otherwise, maybe, you know, you need to take a 10-minute walk, stand up a little bit, you know, walk around the office, like something like that. Just all these little things to like have these checks throughout the day versus just getting to the end of the day being like, well, that day's done. I got 2,000 steps and then moving on.
It's kind of like if you're tracking your calories in MyFitnessPal and you eat all day and your plan is to kind of remember it and then track it at the end of the night. Like if you're typing things in at the end of the night into MyFitnessPal and you see you're getting to your calorie goal, it's already too late. You know, you need to do a little bit of planning, spot check yourself throughout the day to make sure that you're going to hit your targets, and the same thing is true with your steps. This reminded me of something funny. Like I was scrolling Facebook the other day, and this photographer that we used to be friends with back in Nashville, he's my age, and he put up a post like showing himself flexing or something, and he said like, my mission is to get ripped at 47 years old, and like here's what I'm doing. And he talked about cooking his own food and lifting weights, and he said trying to hit 5,000 steps per day. And I commented back to him, I was like, dude, you're killing it. Like, these are all great things. If you were to get that step count closer to 8,000 to 10,000 steps per day, you're going to have a lot easier time getting shredded. I think a lot of people underestimate, just for the point of fat loss, how important daily activity is. And daily activity is really just like reflected in your step count. We're not talking about how many calories you burn, you know, in your workouts and stuff like that. But increasing your step count from 5,000 to 10,000 is going to burn several hundred more calories. And if fat loss is your goal, it's going to be the thing probably separates you. You know, hitting a calorie deficit that provides you faster results than if you, I mean, I consider 5,000 almost like a sedentary lifestyle. So you'll have much better progress is what I'm trying to say if body composition change and fat loss is part of your plan for the rest of the year, by prioritizing 7,000 to 10,000 steps per day.
Yeah, and sometimes you're just not even aware of like how many you're getting. We did a couple of years ago for Digital Barbell, we did a step challenge, and it's like kind of the first time we really truly became aware of how many steps we were getting. And you start to implement these little tasks, these little things in your life that help you get more steps, and they just become habits, just like everything else. Like, you know, most days that I work out, I'll try to like get into the gym a little early and do a 10-minute walk on the treadmill, just like get my body warmed up, things like that. You know, try to take the dogs for a walk. All these little tasks that even parking a little further away than you might, you know, at the grocery store or things like this. All of these things really add up during the day, and once you kind of implement them, they just become these like quick little habits that you don't even have to think about anymore. And then you end up really like getting to the end of your day, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm already at this many steps. Like, wow, you know. Anyway, all right, number 3, make or keep sleep a priority.
And the reason we're pulling sleep out here and bringing it into the spotlight, that's the word I'm looking for, is because sleep is one of those things that is a high return on investment thing to focus on. The downstream effects of improving your sleep or getting enough sleep they just trickle down into so many things that people want to be better in their life anyway.
Yeah.
You know, whether your goal is to build muscle, have better mental clarity, improve your relationship with food, hunger, and cravings, those are all downstream effects of sleep. So we're faced with this choice most nights, like, am I going to go to bed or am I going to like do something to unwind, like scroll social media, which actually like ramps up our adrenaline and makes it harder to sleep. You know, things like alcohol crush the quality of sleep. So making sleep a priority is important for the last half of the year because of all the things that are going to happen besides just the fact that you're going to feel more rested.
And summertime is one of the times when sleep can start to get disrupted. I mean, it's staying lighter and lighter longer throughout the day. There's more activities at night. And, you know, so just trying to think about your schedule and if possible, if your work schedule and your daily schedule allows, making these adjustments. And that's kind of what we've done here. Like as we're trying to remodel this house, our days are definitely longer. We're spending, you know, much more time after work hours in the house, like working. That pushes our dinner back, which pushes our bedtime back. And so to allow for us to still get enough sleep, we're just like allowing ourselves to sleep in longer to make that adjustment. And so maybe that's something that you can think about doing. Okay, maybe you're going to bed even closer to 11 during the summer. And if it's possible for you to sleep until like 7, where you would normally get up at 6, you know, you can have that little tweak in your schedule, hopefully.
And I would say, you know, for most people who aren't self-employed or have flexibility with their job, like there's less flexibility for you to sleep in the morning, which means you kind of need to reverse engineer the end of your day prior to be able to know that you're going to probably give yourself an opportunity to get enough sleep. So, you know, knowing that you have to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning, that means we probably need to be winding down and be in the bed by 10 o'clock, which is probably going to make you have to like reverse engineer a little bit more into the evening. What do I need to do between 8 and 10 so that I actually will be done with the things I need to get done and have a chance to get in bed by 10 o'clock. So do a little bit of homework, aiming to try to get 7 to 8 hours in bed. And that's like undistracted without your phone, actually unwinding, letting yourself get to a place where you're going to fall asleep. And you already know all the things you're supposed to do to make sleep quality good. I already mentioned like limiting alcohol, keeping your room to a temperature that is comfortable and cool for you so you don't wake up hot. If there's things that go off, noises around your house that wake you up routinely, get a white noise machine so you sleep through those things. If your partner kicks you in bed or snores, kick them out, build them another room they can sleep in.
I'm so looking forward to sleeping in this house. Like I've realized, I went to like a women's retreat thing for church, and we stayed in a house, and I was like, I was fearing that I wasn't going to sleep very good, and I slept so good, and I was like, it was so cold in there. And I got to say, in the summer, the Airstream is not that cold. We've got the air, you know, you can run an air conditioner, obviously. We have the air conditioner, and we have 2 fans going in the bedroom. And as soon as that air conditioner stops at night, just because the temperature outside drops, it's stuffy.
Yeah.
And in the house, it doesn't really feel like that. The air is
not got a big ceiling.
The air is just not like gone when the air stops. And
Yeah.
usually in a camper, when the air stops running, the air is just like, I don't know where it goes, but there ain't no cold air in there anymore. But I have trouble sleeping well in the Airstream sometimes because of how hot it can get at night, even, you know, with the air conditioner running.
Yeah.
But I'm so looking forward to being able to sleep in the house again because I'm like, oh, it's so cool in the house.
Plus, we have a king-size bed in storage.
Oh, yeah, that's true. All right, number 4.
This is my favorite one.
Attack a weakness.
So I did this personally probably, I don't know, it's been 2 or 3 years ago. I've never seen myself as somebody who is like a runner. I've always said like, I suck at running or I hate running or whatever. So I just made it a goal. I picked a strange time of year to do it in Texas being the summer, but I would end most of my workouts, no matter what I did, by going for a run. And I just set a simple goal of running a mile. It was like a down and back on our street. And to get like, not just like better at running and to do the hard thing, like I made it a challenge too. Like I tried to run a mile as fast as I could most of those days. Call it like 2 to 3 times per week.
Right.
And what do you know? I got better at running. Like when Carlos and I did the Old Man Pentathlon, like I think my mile time was like 6:30 something.
Yeah.
And probably a year before that, a 10-minute mile would have been a challenge. So it's something that I got better at just by prioritizing for probably only like 3 to 4 months. So it was a weakness, and it's not a weakness anymore. I did Murph on Monday, and I ran both of those miles at 8 minutes per mile. I could have gone faster, but our treadmill tops out at 7.5 miles an hour, and we haven't mapped out what a mile is out here on the street. But my point is, like, attacking a weakness can be fun.
Yeah.
And it can really help you improve. And this can look a lot of different ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be a performance-based thing. It could be like you want to improve your mobility. Maybe you have like horrible ankle or upper back mobility, and it limits you in some of the things that you can do. Maybe you've always been somebody who's like, the most awesome thing I could do as a feat of strength would be to do a pull-up.
Right.
All right, you got 6 months to work. 7 months, that's right. Like, that is more than enough time to build up the strength to do a pull-up with the right program. Oh, we actually have a free resource for that, a pull-up program.
Drop that in there.
Remind me to put that in the show notes for this episode.
And as you're listening to this, like, this doesn't have to take over your workouts, and it doesn't have to make your workouts take super long either. You know, like, for example, if the pull-up is your goal, you know, adding in, if you're already doing pullovers or dumbbell rows and things like that are, you know, helping you build that strength, add 1 or 2 more sets. You know, you're normally doing 3 sets, do 4 to 5 sets of those exercises throughout your workouts. In your warm-ups, let's, you know, do some pulling things. Let's do, you know, 1 day a week, let's add face pulls. 1 day a week, let's do like chin-up negatives or banded chin-ups or some you know, things like that. Ring rows, inverted rows. Just, you know, adding these little things to your warm-ups, adding a couple sets to your strength work. These are the little things that are going to help you achieve this goal. Same thing with your thing with running. You know, you're like, okay, 2 or 3 times a week, I'm going to add a little running to my workout, you know, and a finisher or something like that.
The great thing about doing this a couple times a year is, like, once you make that thing no longer a weakness, it kind of stays not a weakness without you having to put a lot of effort into it. It's just something you're decent at now, and only requires minimal maintenance to be able to maintain whether it's endurance or strength that you built in the dedicated time that you were attacking it. So.
I jumped on the running thing like last year around May. When we were camping, I kind of was like, okay, I'm not getting access to gyms where I can do like CrossFit type stuff. I'm going to start running a little bit more, and I started running, and it's just really cool to feel better at running. Like just knowing, like, when we got the treadmill out of storage and where I set the treadmill when I'm doing a workout, like a run within a workout, I am so shocked, like, at what I set the treadmill at now, and as compared to what I used to. And I'm like, I can't believe I can, and I probably could have always run that fast. It was just like, my mindset was like, I suck at running. I'm not a runner. I'm going to go, you know, slow as possible during the workout because I'm already doing a workout, you know, wanting to push myself. Like, all those kind of thoughts were in my head, and now I've like reframed it to like, I am pretty, you know, I can decently run now. And so I set my, you know, time faster, and it's really cool. Same thing with like pull-ups, push-ups, whatever it is. It's like, okay, I can do that now.
Are you going to sign up for High Rocks now that you're a better runner?
I get better at
For what I see, it's like mostly running.
In wall ball. Everybody says like wall ball's the worst. I think it would be fun.
You do think it would be fun. Interesting. Yeah. Maybe if we can get my shoulder healthy, we can do one together.
Yeah. All right, number 5. Okay. This is a big one. Hang on if you're still listening.
Buckle up. Pull over if you're driving.
Because things are about to get real on this one. All right. Take stock of how much you eat out and drastically reduce that. So I'm talking about, how much do you depend on other people to make your food? Like, do you drive through things and get breakfast? Do you get pre-made things? Do you buy frozen meals? Do you go through drive-thrus? Do you go to restaurants several times a week? All of these little things that, you know, happen during the week. Maybe take 2 weeks to take stock of like how often you are doing this. And what did we say? Like, at least by half reducing this. Because this is one of these things that I think that can make such an impact on your health. Not just your health. Not just like your weight or anything like that, but your health.
Yeah, and the way you feel.
Yeah, the way you feel, like,
less bloated, better digestion, less full all the time, less like fluctuating blood sugar throughout the day because of the mass quantities.
Tired. Yeah. I mean, restaurant food is meant to be tasty, and it's not. Even if it says it's a healthy restaurant, it's not really meant to be that healthy for you. They want you to come back and eat it, and so it's meant to be tasty, and so it is not what you think it is.
So in
most
case
often.
you missed it, like our specific advice for the rest of 2026 on this one is for you to start out here after you listen to this episode, start a little journal or note in your phone and write down for 2 weeks every time you eat food that wasn't prepared by you. And then make a tally of how many times that was over the course of those 2 weeks, and let's try to cut it down by 50%. I think your pocketbook will appreciate this also.
And
People still carry
especially
pocketbooks?
in summer, there's so many things that we do, so many more gatherings, so many like more events that seemingly that we take part in during the summer.
Yeah.
It just seems like we gather with people more often, and a lot of these times might be at restaurants, and so we like to save going to restaurants not only for our financial reasons but for health reasons too, for those times.
Yeah,
And
for special occasions.
for special, not just like celebrating somebody's birthday, but hey, these people are in town, let's go out to eat. Like I love doing that.
We just did it this week.
We just did it this week with some friends, and that I'm all about it. I don't have any like regret in doing things like that, and I don't ever have hesitation on like what I need to order at the menu, or because I don't do it every day. I don't
Right.
just drive through and pick up stuff, and I don't just bring stuff home and pick up like Uber Eats just to do it because
you didn't have a plan. And that, like the thing with the sleep, like this is going to take a little bit of reverse engineering and awareness also. As you keep your journal, you start noticing, okay, I'm stopping for fast food for breakfast every morning after I drop my kids off. And the reason I'm doing that is because I never prepared anything else for me to eat in the morning. So it's kind of like my default decision. So it's going to take you recognizing the situations where you're going for food that you didn't prepare and deciding to make a different plan. Or every Thursday night you're having to order pizza or order DoorDash or whatever because work goes late, kids have practice on that day, and you're just left without a plan. Okay, on that day, to avoid having to order out, I'm going to have to put some chicken in the crock pot, at lunchtime or before I leave for work, or a one-pot meal or chili or whatever, so that like something is ready. It's going to take some effort. This isn't going to happen on its own, but I can promise you, like in our own fitness journey and seeing with clients, limiting and almost eliminating food prepared by other people, especially restaurants, has the biggest chance of improving your body composition and leading to like you just feeling better than almost anything else you can do for your health.
Yep.
I hope that was clear.
All right, last one. Adopt the get to versus have to mindset.
This is like some Ben Bergeron chasing excellence advice right here, but it's true.
It's super solid advice.
I think we've all like hung around people who we just can like hear the negative things they say all the time, and just like almost everything they say is I have to do this, or this is it's like a complaint list. So we notice it in other people, but we probably don't notice it in ourselves, how many times we say we have to do things.
Like I have to work out. And it kind of has that tone. I have to go work out.
Yeah.
It's like a want. But we look forward to things we get to do. Like, I get to take a week off in July, around July 4th.
Yeah.
We kind of say that with more enthusiasm.
You get to go on vacation. You get to do this. You get to do that.
And so starting to like reframe, like I get to go work out, because I have the physical ability and I know how the long-term effects of this are. And I mean, I know that sounds probably super cheesy, but it's true. I mean, you ugh about having to go work out, but then like you break your leg and you don't get to go work out. You're gonna be in a worse mindset about it. So during the times that you are able to do it, I say go do it and have the attitude like I get to go do this, even if you're sluggish, even if it's not like, oh my gosh, this is the number one thing I want to do today. Just we're trying to reframe that mindset of like, I actually have the ability to go out there and do that. I can lift these weights over my head. I can jump up on this box, and I'm going to go out there and like do it.
I think like people would tell you one of the main things that holds them back from doing the things they know they should do to improve their health is that they don't have the motivation that they wish they had. But you don't have to rely on motivation for things that you feel like you get to do.
Yeah.
So we can make that switch in your brain to this is something that you get to do. Then it's no longer like I need motivation to go do this thing that I have to do. No, I'm looking forward to doing this thing regardless of motivation because it's something that I get to do.
Yeah.
Motivation isn't required. The hidden benefit of that is like if you get to go do your workout and you go do it and that builds up some consistency, which leads to results, that feeds into the motivation you want to have to keep going, seeing the results that you get from taking action, even in the face of not feeling the motivation at the start.
And and this is all to kind of help with the mindset and to help with like that feeling of like waiting for motivation, but which is not going to come, but you know, having to have the habit. But it just really just reframes your mindset, I think, around most other things in life for more of like a thankful and appreciative mindset versus like that ugh mindset, like ugh, the weather's bad, ugh, everything.
Yeah.
Like I get to cook dinner. Like I actually have a kitchen to cook in, and I have the money to purchase food. You know, and again, as silly as this is sounding, like it really is true, and it changes your mindset to like, I'm very thankful that I actually have this ability, have the finances, and have a roof over my head to cook in, and people to feed. You know,
I've had to kind of check myself with this mentality in this house remodel because, you know, we hired subcontractors to do a lot of the work up until a certain point, like plumbing, electrical, HVAC, sheetrock, and then like basically from then on, it's been in Blakely and I's hands to finish the project, which, you know, started with laying the floor down, and there got to a point putting the floor down where I was like, this isn't fun anymore. Like, you know, it was fun for the first week. You know,
the first week,
the motivation
first
was
day.
There, but then it ended, and then like installing the baseboard and the doors, like a lot of frustrating things popping up doing that. And now to the point where we're painting the trim and I'm down on my hands and knees, sanding and caulking and painting and like, you know, it's not the most fun thing. It's very labor intensive, and I have a lot of respect for people who do this for a living, but I've had to check myself when I'm doing it, being like, this really isn't something that I have to do. Like, I'm getting the opportunity to do this for our house. We're building the equity by doing a lot of this work ourselves. And I said to you the other day when we were sitting here looking around, being like, you know, when we're living in this house and we look around at all these finishes, like the sense of pride that we're going to have to know that we did that with our own two hands, we got to do that. And like, people will come in and look at it, and like, whether we tell them we did a lot of the work ourselves and what they're seeing, like we have the sense of pride knowing that we got to go do that, and we took on the challenge and we went and did it.
And like last year at this time, we did not have a house. We were living full time in the Airstream, and we didn't know like where we were going to live or if we would have the ability to purchase a house anytime soon. I think that we didn't even think it was 5 years down the road or something like that. We just didn't see this coming. And so I think like, having that appreciation of like, wow, like it is hard. Like, you know, after we record this podcast, we get to go work on the house, and it's like, it's hard work, but I do appreciate both having the ability to do it and having the physical ability and just the means to do it.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. Well, I'll tell you what, if you want this list sent to you, we have the notes for the podcast here in case you're driving or you're doing something else. Maybe you're painting your own house and you just listen and you've already forgotten all 6. I'll put a link to how you can reach out to both of us in the show notes for this episode. Just send us an email. We'll send you the notes for the podcast. So you'll have the list. You can revisit it and you can go through and decide if you're going to try to tackle these 6 things for the rest of the year. I hope this helps. Anything else you want to add?
That's it.
All right, you guys enjoy the rest of your day.